Hello everyone, welcome to this particular video. In this particular video, we are going to work on securing Azure SQL Database. Now this is a very important lab for you. This lab is mainly designed for AZ 500 Azure Security Technologies Associate exam. But even if you're taking any other exam, this is a very good lab to have some hands-on. Especially if you are doing even the architect level certification, this lab is going to be very helpful to you. And I'm going to give you the link in my video. So at least let's actually copy this as we speak. Let's open up a new and just put it as a reference, and we'll put it there in our video section. So what are we going to do in this particular lab? Okay. Here we have been asked to review security features of Azure SQL Database. So that's going to be our overall concept. We'll be looking at securing our Azure SQL Database. What are things that we're interested in? We want protection against SQL injection and data exfiltration. So those are two major issues with database type applications. Every database, if you're using and if you're not careful, you can be subjected to SQL injection, and possible most SQL injection you do it for data exfiltration, right? And next, we want the ability to discover and classify database information into categories such as confidential. So if you have a SSN, I need the capability to look into database, look at all the data and figure out what column I should be classifying. I need that ability. And third of all, we also need ability to audit database servers and database queries and log events. All of that we can do. Now for this lab, we're going to use the East US region, which is my personal favorite region anyway. So exercise 1, implement the SQL database security feature. Okay, there's only one looks like lab file that we need to worry about. So we need to deploy something. So let's just save that name of that file in here. So the main thing that we're going to cover in as part of the exercise 1 are going to be here. So let's put that in here as well. And this section is going to take about 30 minutes, right? So we're going to deploy the Azure SQL Database. So that's going to be pretty simple from the Azure Portal. We're going to configure the advanced data protection, configure data classification, and finally we're going to configure auditing. Okay, so let's get started with the lab. So for the lab, we're going to go to the Azure Portal, okay, and we are going to do custom deployment. We're going to deploy this particular JSON file that is available with the lab, and review the content of the template. Note that it deploys the Azure VM hosting Windows Server 2019 data center. So that's what it's going to do. And so let's first get the template and save it for our use. Okay, so I'm going to go to the top folder, and what we need to do is all files labs. Yeah, it's under all file lab, and what I need to do is lab 11 Azure deploy. So lab 11, and then go to Azure deploy, and let's just quickly review what we have here. All right, so schema and content version, there you gotta have it. Looks like we have some variables for SQL administrator logging, SQL administrator password, or beautiful password right there, server name, then AZ500L11, and then unique string. Excuse me. It's a Microsoft SQL type server. And what else do we need to check? Okay, it's configuring a firewall, and it's going to deploy the database for us, and that's about it. So it's not a whole lot of deployment. It's just going to deploy this thing. So let's save this file. Come on, just save as. Yeah, save as. All right, under here, Azure deploy JSON, save. Okay, so what we want to do from here, we need to do the deployment first. So let me make sure that I don't have any crazy. Okay, so it's good. So from here, what you want to do, custom deploy a custom template. Okay, this is what you need. Once you go there, it's gonna give you an option to build your own template in the editor, so you just click on it, and then you have some text here. Don't worry about it, just click on load file, and as you deploy.json, that's the file you want. It's now open, just hit save. Okay, so now you still have to do some extra stuff. Look like the only thing I need to do is create an resource group. So let's go back to the lab now. So we are done. Click save, edit parameters, and here this is the only thing we need to create, the resource group. Okay, create new resource group, and east-west is already selected, so I don't have to worry about it. Now we are going to deploy this. Okay, so let's just click on agree and then purchase. So that is going to start the deployment of the template. It's gonna give us the server, and it's gonna have the SQL database instance available for us to do some more stuff. Now let's go back in here. The next thing that we're gonna do, configure the advanced data protection on that particular database. Okay, so let's just give a couple of minutes for this deployment to be done. So here is one place where you can check the status. It says the deployment in progress. You can click on that one. That will give you this big view as well, where it's going to tell you what is exactly going on inside your subscription. And again, you can also keep this window open as well if you like. Okay, let's just minimize it. I'm going to pause the video for a couple seconds, and we'll be back and continue with the lab. Alright my friends, I think the deployment is now done. So you can click over here to the go to resource group. It should take you to the resource group where you have this deployment, and you see you have two different things got deployed. It's created a SQL Server instance. Okay, and we also have a database, looks like. Okay, both of them, SQL Server and SQL Database. Okay, that's good. So next thing that we can continue in the Azure Portal, it's inter resource group, so that's we're already there. Okay, on the server blade in the security, we're gonna configure the advanced data security. Okay, so on here we can go to the server blade, so that's the server, right? And this server blade, we should have a blade for security, right? Under security you have the advanced data security, and that is what we need to configure for this particular SQL server. Okay, what do you need to configure? Advanced data security, you gotta turn this on, of course. Subscription, periodic recurring scans, all of that you gotta configure. So let's say come over here, set the advanced data security on, which is just did. Review the information about pricing and the trial period. Did it say anything? Okay, so this one says advanced data security cost $15 per server per month. It includes data discovery and classification, vulnerability assessment, and advanced threat protection. We invite you to a trial period for the first 30 days without charge. Okay, so that's important. Okay, so we turned it on, but it's going to cost us $15 per month. Okay, then we have some configuration. We need to select a storage account, it looks like. So let's configure. Click advanced threat protection type. On the advanced threat protection blade, review the list of threat type and click OK, and back on the advanced data security pane, click save. Okay, that is interesting. So advanced threat protection, email address, let's do, just send it to that person. Enable auditing for beta threat investigation. Why not? Let's just, if we have anything, let's turn it on. Audit logs destination, you can send it to storage. If I have a storage account, storage configure require setting, so let's just click that. I'm going to use the storage account retention 7 days. Storage access key primary is fine. retention key D, the 0 means it's going to be stored for unlimited days. So let's not do that. Let's just put some number in there. Log analytics, if we can. I don't have anything configured, so I'm not going to worry about it for now. Okay, let's come back. Event type, again same thing. I don't have anything configured, so I'm not going to worry about this too. But at least I have enabled the auditing on this database. That's something extra that you have just learned that is not part of that lab. Okay, so once that's done, let's go back. Okay, and here it's asking me for a database account, so I'm just gonna use my favorite GPDR storage account actually, and send reports to periodic recurring scans. Scans will be triggered automatically once a week. I think that's good. Again, I'm going to send it to this particular email address. Also send email notification to admins and subscription owners. Why not? Just send it to them. Okay. Advanced threat protection type. What kind of threat protection you get? So if you click on it, you know that it can detect SQL injection vulnerability, data exfiltration, unsafe action, brute force, and anomalous client logins. So all those things can now be audited for you. So now let's come over here, hit save. So now my database is very secure, and we are using advanced data security and a security section within this SQL server to get those features available to us. So let's go back. So we have done all of that. Note, if you receive an error message regarding invalid storage container path, then the storage account may not have been provisioned yet. Wait a few minutes. I think it's not gonna happen because I'm using an existing storage account. I didn't use a new storage account, right? So what I expect this to be, yeah, they're all done. So all those successful, all of them successful, they're successfully saved. Okay, so we have already enabled everything for this particular SQL server, so that's really good. All right, so come over here. So we're done with that. Next is, so we configured my data protection. Next task is the data classification. Okay, in this task, you will discover and classify information in SQL databases for GDPR and data protection compliance. So this is very important. So let's put it there, because GDPR got a lot and lots of importance these days. So let's just say discover and classify information in SQL database for GDPR data classification compliance. So that is one of the things that we are doing. And over here, the main thing that we did is so let's add another bullet point in here. So the first one, explore advanced data protection. So that's what we did in the first section. In here we are focusing on the data classification aspect of it. Okay, so now we're gonna deploy a custom template. Then this is weird. Oh, this is still one. Okay, I'm sorry. Classification. Okay, on the server blade, in the settings, click on the SQL database. So let's go back to the server. SQL database is that blade. Okay, blade bins is the link. Okay, that's what Azure refers to. All those links that you have on this left hand side, they're all referred as blades. In this blade, if you click on a SQL database, this is the database that's available to you, right? Let's see what else it's asking us to do. In the list of databases, select that. That's the only database I have right now. On that one, go to security and then go to advanced data security. So from here again, it's going to give us now SQL database blade or overview and everything. From here, I have security, and if you look at it here again, we have advanced data security that we can use on this particular SQL database. Okay, So let's see what we can do. On the advanced data security blade, click data discovery and classification tile. Okay, so data discovery and classification is this one. So I see if you click on it, it's mainly giving you three main boxes: one for data discovery and classification, one vulnerability assessment, and the third is advanced threat protection. So we are working with this one, data discovery and classification. So let's get into that. So what is telling us classified column is 0. We haven't classified anything. Table containing sensitive data is saying 0. Unique information type all is saying 0. Okay, and if this happens, move this bar over here to get to the view that you like. Alright, on the data discovery classification blade, click on classification tab. Now read this. The classification engine scans your database for columns containing potentially sensitive data and provides a list of recommended column classification. This is very, very useful. Okay, so what we need to do, data discovery classification and the classification tab. Okay, data discovery classification, and there is my classification tab. Okay, so overview tab where we were, here is my classification tab. Okay, now come back over here. Click on the text message. We have found 15 columns with classification recommendation. Do we have that? Yeah, we do. 15 columns with classification recommendation. It's saying click on that column to view what it has found. Okay, so we got that. Review the listed columns and the recommendations and the recommendations level. Enable the select all checkbox and then click accept selected recommendation. So what it has done, you can create select all. So for every single one, it's added a recommended sensitivity level like confidential, GDPR, confidential, all of that, but only two of them looks like GDPR. Recommended sensitivity level needs to be attacked, but everything else could be just confidential. Okay, and then here I'm going to accept the recommendation. It says automatically you can select only certain columns if you like, and you can also change the information type and the sensitivity level if I need to. So for here it's like in this one, if I want to change my sensitivity level on some of these, I should be able to change that in some form or fashion. Okay, so for this one I'm just gonna select the recommended one, and here I'm gonna say accept selected recommendations. Okay, and now you are in this particular view. In this view again, if you want to change something and you don't consider this to be confidential, say just change this to highly confidential, and this one may be general, this one may be public. I'm just trying out for just to prove that we can change it. You in a real world should be spending more time, and then just save, and that will save the table. So now you have a data classification, and it's your SQL Azure engine. It's so smart, it knows and it recommends what needs to be done for your data privacy. Okay, really good. So back on the advanced security blade, on note the data discovery and classification tile has been updated, so that we should be able to see that. So let's come back over here. Okay, now you see this tile. It's 15 confidential, GDPR, confidential, public, general. So all of that data is now available to you. Everything is properly up to date. So okay, this is a little bit better view, and it's again telling you what we have done, how it's been classified. So we have 109 columns, 15 of them are now classified. 5 of the tables, they contain sensitive data, and unique information type is 5. Okay, so that's really cool, and you should know the data classification very well, for especially for the security exam. Okay, the last thing is the auditing. So now we have secured our databases. database servers, and once we have done that, we stopped our SQL injection, our DDoS, all kinds of attacks. Then we came down to the database level. We classified our data, so now we know exactly where, under which column my sensitive data are stored. Now we need to enable auditing. So let's just do that. So here we're going to go back to the server blade. From security section, we are going to go and enable the auditing. So let's go back over here and let's go back to the SQL server. Okay, now setting, under security you have the auditing, so that's where we need to go to set up the auditing. It says my auditing is already on, and we can again send our audit data to both log analytics or the event tab. Let's see what is this lab is about. Say the auditing switch to on, so we have done that already. Select the storage checkbox and click configure. So what they are saying here, the storage, I have already configured this, so they're saying okay, just configure it. So if you remember, when we created this database, the lab didn't tell us to configure this, but we went ahead and did it anyway. So now if you haven't done at the deployment time, you can also come back over here and configure it. So let's see how the lab wants us to configure. On the storage setting, let's click storage account. On the create storage account, in the name box, type a globally unique name and set a retention key to 5 retention or to 5 days and hit OK. So we are retaining for 46 days and they're saying okay, only 5 is good. Alright, so that's good, and hit OK, and then make sure to hit save, and your auditing is on. On the server blade, on the setting, click on the SQL database. Let's go back again, server blade, overview, okay, SQL database. Let's go down to the SQL database, and from here security, we should have another auditing. So this is the auditing. Let's see if it's enabled or not. This is not enabled, so okay, so this is actually saying server level auditing is enabled. So let's see if blob enabled for the server, it will always apply to database regardless the database setting. So what it's telling me you don't really have to enable it here. It will automatically have the auditing done because it's enabled at a server level. So let's see what it says. The database level auditing, server level auditing is already enabled. Audits can be written to an Azure storage account, to log analytics workspace, or to the event hub. We can configure any combination of these options. If storage based auditing is enabled on the server, it will always apply to database regardless of the database setting. Click view audit logs. Okay, so I don't think we need to do anything else here. You can click and view the audit log and see what is going on. Right now I don't have anything, no audit records here, so let's see what it says. Note that you can switch between server audit and database audit. So here server audit, there's nothing. Is there anything on the database? I don't have anything yet. But the point over here, since my auditing is enabled at the server level, I don't need to enable the database level auditing. It will be automatically applied, and from the audit logs I can look at server audit logs and the database audit logs if I like. Alright, so now note, since the SQL Server and database were created recently, it is unlikely that any events will be available at this time. Okay, that's good. Now that's all for the lab. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up all the resources that we deployed, and you should do it too, just to make sure that you are not spending money for the resources that you only use for the lab. So again, so kind of to conclude what we did, we looked at Azure SQL database and server features, and we started with protecting and securing our server. Then we went down to the database level, and what we did, we enabled advanced data protection and data classification on them as well. And finally we enabled auditing. So that kind of captures everything, all the security features that you need for the SQL Azure SQL databases. Okay, that's all for the lab. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you have any comments whatsoever, good or bad, please leave it. I really value your comments, and I'll try to improve how I'm presenting these videos in the future. So if you're studying for the exam, good luck, and again, thank you for watching the video. Have a great day.